Well, I wish I was coming to you with better news, but at this point you've probably figured out, yes, we're having another price change at Tesla. This will officially be the 11th price change at Tesla in 2021. And if you look at that, it's now November, so we've averaged a price change once a month, every month for the whole year. Now, some months we had no price changes, some months we had 2 price changes, but on average, we've had 1 price change a month. What's a little bit different about the changes this evening that we're seeing, it's not just the base price that went up. As a matter of fact, some of the paint colors changed prices as well. So we're seeing some color options have now gone to free alongside white, and some prices have gone up in paint. But we'll get to that in a moment. First, I want to start with the price changes that we're seeing in the Model 3 and Model Y lineup. The Model 3 standard range now comes in at $44,990, which is a $1,000 increase from last month. The long range at $50,990, again, a $1,000 increase. And the performance at $58,990, yet again, a $1,000 increase. Moving over now to the Model Y, the long range all-wheel drive starts now at $57,990, a $1,000 increase. The performance now comes in at $62,990, yet again, a $1,000 increase. Now here's the thing, if you look at these cars, they have not gone up or down in equal terms throughout the year. As a matter of fact, the long range all-wheel drive Model Y has increased the most in 2021. Now I'm just looking at since January, so technically it did go down $1,000 before going back up, but just from January's price, the long range all-wheel drive Model Y has the record at $8,000 increase. In second place is the standard range Model 3 at $7,000 increase this year. And we saw a $4,000 increase in both the long range and performance Model 3, and then finally the Model Y performance at $3,000. So those are some pretty significant increases throughout this year. And I continue to see every time we post one of these updates, more and more people are saying, Tesla's now out of my range. And I totally get it. This is not going to be a popular thing, obviously, but as these prices are going up, it's not like wages are keeping up with substantial increases in prices like this. Now, Tesla does have a demand problem, and we're going to talk about that next, because if you look at the delivery times, they are substantially long. And add in the fact that EV tax credits seem imminent, it sure does seem like it's bolstering the backlog that Tesla has right now trying to deliver cars. So all the people that are delaying their orders right now are flooding the beginning of next year with demand in cars. So these lead times are going to continue to get pushed out even with these increases. On a more positive side, we did see that range was improved in both the Model 3 and the Model Y. The standard range Model 3 increased by 10 miles and now goes 272 miles EPA. The long range all-wheel drive increased by 5 miles and now goes 358 miles on a charge. The performance on both the 3 and the Y stayed the same. The long range all-wheel drive Model Y, however, did increase by 4 miles and now is rated at 330 miles. What's interesting about the Model Y, and I'm thinking this might be relevant to the other cars in the Model 3 lineup, is that when we took delivery in June, our rated range on the screen was 330 miles. I also was able to see that I had a larger battery than what was traditionally shipped in the long range Model Y. So that increased battery has been there since summertime of 2021, and it looks like that's finally now being listed as the actual range for that car, 330 miles. Another thing that's nice to see at Tesla is they did start to show you estimated range based on the wheels and other options that you select on the car. That has now moved from the Model S lineup now over to the Model 3 and Y. So as consumers are picking cars, they can start to see what the impact of those choices are. For example, the easiest one to look at is the wheel options. In the standard range Model 3, by going from Aero to Sport wheels, you lose 5 miles of range. However, when you look at the long range version, you actually lose 24 miles of range going from the Aero wheels to the Sport wheels. That's a pretty substantial hit. Another thing that I noticed is if you add the third row in the Model Y, it's actually reducing your range there as well. I believe it's 4 miles that you're going to lose by adding that option alone. When we look at these increases, of course it's supported by increased input costs, but demand is certainly a big driver here as well. If we look at lead times, it seems that Tesla last month started giving preference to people who are adding at least one option to their order. So as an example, the Model 3 standard range, if you order that base car, your delivery isn't expected until September of 2022. That's almost a year away. However, if you upgrade just the wheels or just the paint color, your delivery timeline comes all the way into May of 2022. For the long range all-wheel drive, it seems like demand's not too bad, so December is your delivery window if you ordered today, whether you get any upgrades or not. The performance is also December. On the Model Y, again, getting the base configuration, you're looking at September delivery. If you add just one option, it'll bring your delivery into May. The Performance Model Y, on the other hand, does look like it's officially been moved into January of 2022, meaning all Model Ys are sold out for the entire year. And now the last piece of news here. Paint colors have made some changes in the configurator. Back in the day, the original free color for the Model 3 when it launched was black. Every other color cost money. It was $1,000 for the other color options or $2,000 for red. Not too long ago, Tesla did change that over and it was white became the free color. Then it was $1,000 for every other color and $2,000 for red. Well, Tesla has made another change to that. You now have two colors to choose from for free. You can either get the white or you can get the Midnight Silver Metallic. Now that used to cost $1,000, so for those of you who wanted that color, I guess with the increase in price, you're paying the same price now as you would have last night if you were going with that color. So on one hand, I guess those people could say that this didn't really impact them, but it is nice that you now have two options for that free color. The blue remains at $1,000, but the black, for some reason, went up by $500. It's now a $1,500 option to get black. And then the red stayed at $2,000. So it's really interesting to see that even the paint colors are starting to see some changes in prices. Now I continued to look through the configurator. I did not see any other options that increased in price. Things like third row or adding white interior. Those still seem to be $3,000 for the third row and $1,000 for the white interior. And the trailer hitch is also still just $1,000. So no other major changes are showing up in the configurator, but it does look like Tesla is really starting to sharpen their pencil and find out exactly where they want prices to be for very specific items in the configurator. I don't anticipate that these price changes are going to slow down as we round out the end of this year. And like I continue to say in all these videos, I know it feels like, man, I just missed out, but just now, a few weeks ago, people who felt like they just missed out if they did pull the trigger, now they're feeling pretty good because prices again went up. So if you're thinking about ordering, I highly recommend get your order in. If you're worried about tax credits, just know that in the current EV tax credit that's being proposed, if you order a car, that is not the date that you purchase the car. You don't purchase the car until you take delivery. So if you ordered it today and locked in the price, you still haven't bought the car. Not until you take delivery in either May or September do you actually purchase that car. So although this isn't great news, I do hope that you enjoy this video. And if you did, of course, give it the thumbs up. If you haven't already, of course, subscribe to the channel as we continue to post content regularly. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram @BeardedTesla. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.